Hey everyone, Andrew with Body Fuel here. We are going to finish up our Blood Work for Athletes and Active People podcast. Last week it was iron, why you needed it, why it mattered, how to fix it nutritionally, how to get tested and work with your doctor. Today it's vitamin D. All of the same stuff, why you should care, how to get tested, nutritional interventions, and concerns, why and how you can get a deficiency. Before I go too far in talking about that, though, I do want to show off the new Body Fuel Multi-Sport t-shirt. Those of you who are listening, it is a baby blue with a big orange body and a big white fuel. Comes in male and female sizes or cuts, so they actually fit really well. I hope you like them as much as we do. And at the end of October, really excited to offer a free shirt with a club membership. And those who don't want to join, you can certainly buy one if you like. That should be available on the website here at the end of October, beginning of November. There will be a podcast and some Facebook social media info on it, don't you worry. So vitamin D, what do we need to worry about? Sunscreen, first of all. So I know everybody right now, we're like, I'm active, I'm an athlete, I'm outside all the time, so what? Doesn't matter. I eat a lot of dairy and stuff and milk, and so what? Doesn't matter. I do both of those things, and over the last 3 years, I have lathered myself in sunscreen, and I go to the doctor probably 8 months ago, and my vitamin D is below okay. It is not acceptable, and I get put on a prescription strength vitamin D supplement for probably 4 to 6 months just to get it back to where it was. What could have caused that? There are lots of reasons. One is sunscreen. We're all wearing it. We're afraid of skin cancer. We lather it on. We prevent our skin from getting UV rays, which is how the body actually creates vitamin D. We create most of the vitamin D from UV exposure, but when we wear sunscreen, we cut that out. And then we've got working inside. So we have a lot of day jobs, or we're inside doing podcasts, and we're not outside in the sun, not even getting 15 minutes of exposure on our arm and legs. So we're not getting vitamin D exposure there. What we do get, we're in lather than sunscreen. And then if you happen to be dark pigmented or have dark skin, you already create less vitamin D from UV exposure. And then you add on the fact that we are getting older, and with age comes a lot of decline in body functions. Our skin doesn't create the same amount of vitamin D from UV exposure. We don't have the same absorption inside our intestines. We start to develop irritable bowel syndrome or gut absorption issues, gut maladies, and those all impact us. And we also tend to eat a little bit less food as we start to get more advanced in age. And all of those will contribute to a vitamin D deficiency. So it doesn't matter if you're outside all the time, and it doesn't matter if you drink a lot of milk, you may not have the appropriate absorption, or you may just be blocking it. So why should you even care about vitamin D? What difference does it make? I'm going to start off with bone health. You already know the answer to this. Vitamin D, calcium, bone mineralization, it's super important. Yes, it is. But there is more important things to vitamin D than just bones. How about mood? How about depression and anxiety? How about gut health? How about immune system health? How about muscle function, muscle firing, muscle strength, muscle power, muscle growth, and muscle repair, all a part of recovery? Vitamin D plays a role in this, so it is important. So how do you know if you have a deficiency and if you should supplement or make dietary changes? With our last podcast with iron, I recommended visiting with your primary care physician to get it tested. I will do the same with vitamin D. I do not advocate blindly taking supplements to cure a problem that you may not have. So you're listening to this podcast, you're like, hey man, yeah, I do have my mood, it's a little in the funk, and I don't feel super frisky and great, or I'm not recovering very well, or I get sick all the time. I'm going to take a bunch of vitamin D. But you may be doing so and you may not need it. You may not have had a deficiency, and that means you're ignoring or avoiding the real problem and it never gets fixed. So don't do it. The other thing is that your primary care may not be testing for it regularly. They do the best job that they can, but they have a lot of patients and they don't know who you are all of the time, and they don't know what you do. And a lot of doctors don't understand what a multi-sport triathlete or a single sport dedicated individual goes through every day. They don't know what we do. So they require us to self-advocate and help them understand, and sometimes ask, hey doc, can I have my vitamin D test? I'd just like to see where I'm at. Shouldn't be a whole lot of pushback. If you are vitamin D deficient, they will recommend a course of action and supplements. Dietitians like myself can help work with you to provide you nutrition counseling on what should you add, and I will provide some nutrition interventions for keeping your vitamin D up and also helping replete or replenish when you are low on top of supplementation. Why shouldn't you blindly supplement? Well, first of all, it may not be a problem that you have, so you may not even need it. Second of all, A, D, E, and K vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin A, D, E, and K, are all fat soluble, which means when you take them in, they get stored inside the fat. They're not like vitamin C or B12 where you just pee them out. So you can take tons of vitamin C, like that emergency stuff, man, 10,000 this, 20,000 that, whatever. All the excess either gets used or it gets peed out. So vitamin D isn't like that. Vitamin D will actually get stored in the fat and build up to toxic levels, and that's a little bit of a problem. It's very difficult for us to eat enough food to get a vitamin toxicity, but when we're popping pills regularly, we can certainly overdo it because we're getting way more consistently. Second of all, you may not be absorbing the vitamin D. So my absorption issue may be in sunscreen. It might be in intestinal because I have FODMAP and I do have some digestive or absorption issues. So you can take vitamin D all day, but you might not be absorbing it. So you might not be taking enough, which means getting tested and working with your doctor to understand a problem, identify it, and then solve it is the best thing to do. Food sources for vitamin D. Okay, let's say that you don't have a vitamin D issue, but you want to make sure that you keep your vitamin D levels appropriate, or you do have a vitamin D deficiency. Doctors provided you some supplementation and said, hey, eat more vitamin D foods. Well, what the hell is that? So food sources of vitamin D. Fatty fish, salmon, tuna, sardines, mackerel, those are all appropriate. Cod liver oil has 1,350 milligrams of vitamin D per tablespoon, an amazing source that you can use for a supplementation. Egg yolk specifically, if you eat a lot of eggs but just the egg whites, you're not getting the vitamin D, you do need the yolk. Dairy, milk, cheese, and yogurt all have vitamin D, and they are fortified with vitamin D. The argument a lot of people gave with like, oh, you don't need milk for vitamin D. It's not the best source. It doesn't even have it naturally. It's fortified. Well, yeah, it's fortified. So it does have it. And it was a major source of vitamin D for all of our children and most adults who are drinking it 2 or 3 times per day. When that milk, for whatever reason, gets cut out of the diet, and you may be lactose intolerant, you may be casein intolerant, and if that's the case, you absolutely need some other dietary sources. But if you're not, you are eliminating a major source of vitamin D from your diet. So maybe you might want to rethink that. And maybe I'll cover that, milk and dairy, in another podcast. But for now, let's just focus on vitamin D, and dairy is a good source. Fortified foods, cereals, juice, oatmeals, a lot of our box cereals, a lot of our packaged goods have vitamin D inside them. I'm not a big fan of processed foods, but if you are vegan or vegetarian and you choose to not eat meat or dairy products, you do have to look for fortified foods and cereals or a supplement form that will give you vitamin D. All right, so vitamin D, recommendation, get it tested once a year. Make sure that you're appropriate. When you do, now you know how to fix that. I really appreciate you listening. I'm always looking for new topic ideas, so feel free to email or even call me. You can find my information on the internet. You can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud, user Body Fuel SPN. You can find us on YouTube, Body Fuel SPN. You can see the links at Body Fuel Multisport on Facebook or the Body Fuel Sports and Performance Facebook page. I hope you join us. I hope you send us some content that we can develop for you. I'm hoping that next week we're going to do sweat and sodium content and how to replete that. There's a lot of junk out there, and I'm getting published this fall in Scan, a dietetics journal, a review on exercise-associated muscle cramping and all about sodium and electrolytes and muscle cramping, the truth about it. So I hope you're excited. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks and take care.